thank you.
Thank you so much for accepting to participate in this interview to raise awareness about mental health. I have a few questions for you today, but first one, could you quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Nicholas Smith. I'm Head of Marketing and Communications for Hammersmith, Fulham, Ealing and Hounslow Mind.
Amazing. So for how long have you been doing that, and when did you join Mind and why?
I joined Mind about 2 years, lived and worked and breathed in the borough in West London for the last 20 years of my life, and this opportunity came across my lap and I jumped at it really to give a chance to give back to the community in which I've lived for so long, and for an extremely important cause right now, and one that's very topical.
Amazing, amazing. Now my first question is mostly about Mind itself. What do you do to support mental health? It's such a big topic, mental health. How do you tackle that?
Oh, it's such a huge topic. We are a local mental health charity. We are a federated Mind, about 120 of us, independent charities underneath the Mind umbrella. We look after Hammersmith, Fulham, Ealing and Hounslow. We have over 30 sort of services across the tri-borough, ranging from our safe spaces for adults or children and young people safe space, right through to mental health support teams in schools, advocacy services on wards. We are literally on your high streets, in your schools, in your hospitals and in your homes, delivering much needed mental health support, and we would like...
Amazing. So when you're doing all of that work, is there a reason why people come to you? Are they coming mostly for, I don't know, depression, or maybe like stronger mental illnesses like schizophrenia, or is it just to know what is mental health? Like when they reach out to Mind, what is it for?
We act primarily as an intervention and prevention service. We like to get to people before their struggles get too serious. We're really there to try and de-escalate situations, relieve stress from statutory services like A&E, and give people an alternative to going to the NHS for us. So we very much work on the front line, and that's delivering everything from CBT-led interventions right through to simple workshops and peer support groups, and we work very closely with co-production, which is essentially making sure that the lived experience voices come through right through to the services that we deliver. And if without that co-production element, our services just wouldn't be fit for purpose.
Amazing. We said that there's a spurge in mental health issues. Do you have an idea about why? Why is it that we're suffering so much when it comes to mental health? Why is it on the rise?
Well, I think there's a number of factors there. Most notably the education along the destigmatization of mental health as a topic. As people's understanding grow, as more and more elements can get diagnosed and dissected, we understand more and more about mental health as a whole. And then you have all the environmental factors coming in there, whether that's the wars raging, migration, financial crisis, everything feeds in. Likewise with COVID and the implications that had, and the effects on families and individuals. And there's no one sort of solution for each of them, and there is no one route into mental health. So whether that is from a clinical perspective, or it's something that's happened environmentally, or through sort of an incident that's happened in your life, there's no predominant route. The trends that we're seeing are very much uniform across the board.
And do you think there is also the location aspect of it? Do we suffer more from mental health in big cities, or more in smaller towns where we'll be more isolated?
I think we looked after 30,000 people last year who came through our doors, and if you take that into consideration, it was about 5% of the population across our tri-borough. And if you think that's just one charity, and so there are 50 other charities like ourselves who are getting similar numbers through the door. The problem is real. I think the problem is everywhere, and that can being isolated in a remote area to being completely isolated in one of the biggest cities in the world.
And interesting. What would be an actionable advice that you could share to people so they can look after their mental health? What is something that we can do every day to feel better about our mental health?
Well, we strongly champion the 5 ways of well-being. We've got some really fantastic literature and support materials on that. A very simple process of following these steps day in, day out. But essentially, my mantra is a problem shared is a problem halved.
I love that.
If you can get to a place where you have someone who you can confide in, and that can be your mother, your brother, your sister, your teacher, your colleague, your friend, or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, or wherever you feel you can get that, or a peer support group. So really just, if you're struggling, make sure you get in contact with someone, and just let you know that we are here for you.
It's about connecting to people once again, that sense of community basically. Is that what you would advise, to share and not stay alone in your suffering or in your pain?
Absolutely. A problem postponed is definitely not a problem solved, and when it comes to mental health, you really need to find that support as early as possible, which is why we always champion early intervention and prevention, and then allowing people to then have the skills and the tools to go away and then have support themselves in their recovery, while we do everything possible to get you the right support as well.
Amazing. And we hear a lot about young people suffering from bullying, especially online and all of that. What is there specific advice you would have for the youth, or is it the same to just come in and talk, or is there something specific that you would share to our younger audience?
My biggest piece of advice is just to be kinder, and I think it all starts there. By being kinder to one another, we'll be able to stop a lot of this bullying and harassment, and just take a minute to put yourself in someone else's shoes. You scratch the surface, and everyone is going through lots of hardship and pain and joy and suffering at the same time. Just be mindful that we're not all in the same space at the same time, although we're all occupying the same spaces at the same
The planet. Really interesting. Thank you so much. Is there one last word you'd like to share?
Join the fight for mental health, and if you know anyone struggling, please get them to get in touch with us.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Nicolas.
Absolute pleasure.
Join us for the fundraising event on Sunday, June the 15th. Detail in bio. And don't forget to donate. Candice.